Are the Eagles a broken team? Are they fractured? Sure, starting to sound like some of the cracks are starting to seep through. I'm worried a little bit. I'm worried about this team breaking because it hasn't been that long since the last time the Eagles got fractured in the locker room. We're going to talk about that and continue the Eagles conversation today. Maybe a little baseball conversation as well mixed in. Trending in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, you know the drill. Hit that like button, that share button, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching on, just follow us along, subscribe, comment, like, share, do it all. I'd greatly appreciate it. Helps out every single morning in growing the algorithm, growing everything. And we got lots to talk about, so let's get the conversation rolling today. Obviously, we're one day removed from yesterday morning's disaster of a conversation about the Eagles' loss to the Dallas Cowboys, the second ugly loss in a row. And I was typing up yesterday at work, the Giants catching up. Let me get through my opening monologue before you make me laugh, TMC. Don't interrupt the monologue for something like that. Um, it's two losses, and I'm sitting there yesterday, and I'm typing up some title options for today, for the rest of the week for this show, because it's always one of the hardest things to do. Come up with a title that's catchy enough to draw people in outside of the core 12. And as I'm sitting there brainstorming ideas, I'm surfing social media, I'm surfing Twitter, and I feel like the Eagles locker room is about to fracture, or it's leading in that direction. We got Derek Gunn reports of unhappy people. We got Darius Slay, just the third or fourth player recently to get caught getting involved in social media squabbles immediately after or during games. We've got some serious questions coming out of this locker room anonymously, complaining about play calling, complaining about coaches, complaining about other players. Everybody is chirping. And to me, that's scary. The whole Alshon Jeffrey, Carson Wentz, or Doug Peterson situation, whatever that situation was, we see how that fractured locker room ruined what was that group, that Super Bowl winning group. And I've talked a lot about Jalen Hurts' leadership and Nick Sirianni's leadership and how important it was going to be. Well, guess what? We are going to put that to the test this week. This team has suffered two terrible losses in a row. Two terrible losses. The locker room is fracturing before our eyes. Will Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts really be the leaders we think and hope that they are? I once said about 100 times, that I never thought that this Eagles team, with those two at the helm, would ever lose more than 2 games in a row. That their leadership would never let them go on a long losing streak. Well, you got to travel to Seattle for Monday Night Football now. 4-point favorites. Can they break this 2-game losing streak? Is their leadership going to pull them out of the pits of despair? Is it going to pull them out of the fire swamp? Because right now, they're facing the fire swamp right now. We're doomed. Well, it's trending in a doomed direction. Now, I'm not ready to say we're doomed. I'm not calling it. Hmm, that was rough. I'm not calling it a season yet, but we're trending in it. The defense is done. Randall, you're spot on. The defense is done. I thought it said done. It's Dookie. Yeah, pretty much. Everybody still, Randall, is on that side of the equation where they want to only talk about the offense. And there are some verbal leaks coming out about this offense for sure. But the defense is the problem. And if you watch this show regularly, Randall, you know I've been talking about the defense being a problem for weeks on end here. Yeah, I can now laugh a little harder at Mad Chatter's joke up here about the Giants are catching up. Ha ha ha. Just so you know. Is the D a serious issue? A lot of shows are asking. I've been talking about the defense for weeks on this show. Everybody else wants to talk defense now. Maybe. But no one was talking about it as soon as I was. What's up, Patty Bernard, the Gobbler, Mayor? I am not the mayor of Kenneth Square. What's up, my man? It's freezing cold. It is definitely cold, for sure. Just don't fall behind in first half, and y'all should be okay. The Cowboys fans know what our problem is. It's pretty obvious. Falling behind. Why do we fall behind in the first half so easily? Because our game plan isn't right, because we're not doing things on offense or defensively accurately at first. And actually, offensively speaking, we've been better at first. We're just not. We're making mental mistakes, fumbles, turnovers, whatnot. If a Cowboys fan knows so easily what is wrong, why can't anybody else figure it out? Why can't any of the coaches figure it out? But to see, the thing is, the players are starting to see it. And what you're seeing is when you start having anonymous leaks, and the first major anonymous leak was to Derek Gunn. Now, someone did tweet at me and say, well, look at the source. And then it's a shame that we have to now question Derek Gunn because he went to one of those clickbait media sites instead of staying with a reputable company. Hey, do we question what Derek Gunn says sometimes? Maybe now. But for a very long time, Derek Gunn was one of the most trusted sources in Philadelphia sports talk, in Philadelphia sports media. So when he's getting anonymous messages, I still tend to believe him. And to me, that's a problem. If you're having a problem with your sources or with what Derek Gunn's saying, then I'm worried because I trust it. I trust him. Lucio, yeah, it's okay. We welcome all fans. We got Bills fans, 49ers fans, Cowboys fans. There's lots of fans that watch this show, not just Eagles fans. Defense is a huge problem. They letting everyone put big numbers up on us. The defense is a massive problem. And I think you're seeing, you had Fletcher Cox out there yesterday complaining about the schedule, and we will get into that today as well. But I think this team sees that there are problems. And the problem is that they're starting to chirp a little bit now. And when you have people chirping, that calls into question leadership of this team, players and coaches, that is a problem. And that scares me. Niners fan. Reality sucks, don't it? You shouldn't have talked so much trash. Life's good over it. Hold on, we didn't talk the trash to the 49ers. The 49ers were talking the trash on us. That's it. What did Derek Gunn leak? Derek Gunn was talking about, where are my notes specifically? There were so many leaks yesterday about players unhappy with their role in the offense. Players unhappy. Mostly what Derek Gunn was talking about was offensive players. Unhappy with their role, unhappy with the way the game plan is being called. That they know what the problems are, but they're not being fixed. Could have been DeAndre Swift. That's one rumor I see. One rumor I see is A.J. Brown is leaking it. One of the offensive weapons is talking to Derek Gunn anonymously, discussing how unhappy he is with the way the offense is being run. The only way we survive, we need to put up astronomical amount of points, which isn't going to happen. And that goes to the people that are unhappy with the offense. The fans that say the offense is the problem. The people that say Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. Hell, it only took 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden, people are questioning Nick Sirianni as head coach after 2 weeks. The problem with the offense isn't the play calling. No, the play calling might be a problem. Let me get that. Me, when I say the offense isn't the big problem, I know there's problems. But the offensive numbers would look a lot better if A.J. Brown didn't drop that deep pass on Sunday, if Devontae Smith catches that touchdown pass on Sunday, if both those guys and Jalen Hurts, all three, don't fumble on Sunday. That's 5 situations that could have led to points offensively for the Eagles. The game's a totally different game. So the offense can put up astronomical numbers. It has, and it can again. The problem is on offense, they just need to execute. Whether it's the right play or not, the offense just has to execute a little bit better. Hell, even when DeAndre Swift gets his rare run, he doesn't have the same burst he did earlier in the season. Maybe it's partially because he's not in the flow of the game, but there are problems. On offense, they could put those numbers up. But the problem is that there's now information leaking that there's unhappy people. And that's not what we want. Phil has got the list. I got information. Where's Mr.? Mr. will always be here if he's going to be here. It's Alshon Jeffrey. But see, this is the thing, Marshawn. That are the Eagles' broken title of the show is we are all, like when I talk about old days, I'm older. Some people don't understand when I talk about the Buddy Ryan or the Richie Kotite. Everybody watching this show remembers the Alshon Jeffrey situation. That is still a fresh wound for a lot of people. And once you see people anonymously chirping, whether it's the Josina Anderson, Derek Gunn, or the Beard, if somebody's chirping behind the scenes, that's where locker rooms start to fracture. This week, the leadership of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts will be on display more than ever. Can they get past this drama? Can they end the 2-game losing streak? They get past Seattle, then it's smooth sailing to a 14-3 record. Although the Giants won last night, so maybe them getting their 5th win is not the end of their season's not over yet. Let me tell you something. If the Eagles go out and lose to Tommy DeVito once, I'm gonna freaking lose my shit. But the locker room is fractured because, and I don't want to see this happen again, Marshawn, the Alshon Jeffrey situation. I don't need another quick turnaround of a group. So you know what? You just made the list. You just made the list, Mitch Eder. There, you can't hear the click, my pending click. Jack Stahl is disgusted with his role. Yeah, that would be hilarious if that's what it was. But there is somebody, maybe multiple, that see it. Last year, when everything was going well, and look, things went bad at times last year. But the execution was there more frequently last year. And the losses weren't astronomical losses like the last 2 weeks. It just took 2 bad losses for it to all start crumbling down. That's a problem. Which Eagles are going to make the list of Phil? I don't know. Lackers. Well, I have questioned that. And I got called out for questioning Jalen Hurts. And maybe that his emotionless philosophy on doing things isn't the right way to do it. I don't know. I've been questioned for that. I questioned it, but now I'm being questioned. And I'm not sure why on that. Because I could see it. I could see the lack of, I could see the lack of emotion. And it used to be considered a good thing from Jalen Hurts. I don't know if it is a good thing anymore. Maybe I want Jalen Hurts to stand up and speak his mind. I want to see Jalen Hurts lose his shit when somebody doesn't do his thing the right way. Yeah, you'll see. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Oh, my God. Here we go with the Bills stuff. I'm still, look, we're all still pissed. We're not just pissed. The players are pissed. When the players are pissed off, they start to chirp. And now the chirping is happening. Losing equals locker room chirping. There's nothing new about that. We will be all right. But see, the question is, Peanut, at what point is chirping okay? And at what point is it fracturing the locker room? Because it is these players hear and know what's going on in the media. They know we're complaining about Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. They see the issues. You got Darius, and our fans aren't helping. The people trash talking Darius Slay, people standing outside of the NovaCare complex yesterday with signs that say "Little Place Slay" or whatever it was, and "Trash Can Bradbury" or whatever. That ain't helping. Not helping at all. I mean, they're not helping their own cause by performing and playing piss poor. I was reading an article this morning. My man Zach Chavalella from Philly Sports Network. He's part of the still processing Sixers coverage, also part of flipping the birds and the Eagles coverage. He was writing an article about, accountability and the Eagles and this whole situation to an extent. And I was reading it this morning because I thought it might bring some insight into this conversation, to this thought process. And in it, there's a paragraph in this article, and it's very, very important to read. Nick Sirianni has attempted to instill 5 core values. They are connect, compete, accountability, fundamentals, and football IQ. Then he goes on, instead of not acknowledging but addressing their shortcomings, the team has opted instead to resist humility, honesty, and accountability. Accountability right now in this locker room is extremely lacking. Fundamentals are lacking. That's where the execution has failed. Football IQ has failed, hence where the coordinators aren't doing their jobs. But accountability is just not happening right now. Instead of looking themselves in the mirror, everybody's looking to blame somebody else. And it's a shame that that's happening after 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks of losing. And all of a sudden, everybody is jumping the gun, jumping off the train. Dude, the amount of people I saw questioning Jalen Hurts' contract already yesterday on social media, and not national guys, not clickbait guys, just fans, Eagles fans. Bummed. Like they've been waiting. They've been waiting to say that for sure. The Eagles tied for the best record. Yeah, and the Dolphins lost again. The Chiefs lost again. We're still 10-3, but it's the way of the last 2 losses that's got people so upset. 14-3, and we got fraud activities. How about we win 1 game at a time? Hey, I know. I'm not jumping the gun. I'm not saying I did predict 14-3. I did have Dallas as a big loss for us at the Bills instead of the 49ers, and I picked the Jets. So I'm still on par with where I thought this season was going to go. But we do got to end this winning streak this week before we worry about those final 3 games. You lost to legit teams, but it's not that we just lost to legit teams. We got this destroyed, smoked, curb stomp, whatever finishing maneuver you want to put on it. Are we talking about body language? We're talking about body language. We're talking about body language. We're talking about rumors. We're talking about chirping. Question, Phil. Click. You just made the list. I don't have a list. I got a core 12 list, and that's it. Zach Ertz never coming back to a broken team. Oh, no. Zach Ertz coming back to this broken team isn't saving this team, Marshawn. To the people that want Zach Ertz back here, what's Zach Ertz going to do? He ain't going to save the locker room. Has anyone stopped to think Hurts' shoulder may be sore from carrying the entire team? He is doing his best to carry this team, for sure. People need to get a life, Phil. Well, reporters' job is to get these kind of quotes. And they know how to egg a player on just to get the quote just the right way. At least Derek Gunn is smart enough not to release who it was that said it yet. Doesn't want to ruin the player or the locker room anymore. But if our leaders don't stand up, win or lose, son, if we go out to Seattle and we win 23-21, an ugly, hard-fought game, mistakes happen, we just pull out because we're the better team than Seattle, more talent, there's still going to be these questions. People are going to be upset. People are going to be fractured. It's up to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni to keep this locker room together. Keep them focused on the singular goal of winning and doing whatever it takes for their family. And I don't want to see another Wentz Jeffries situation unfold. We had great leaders then. We didn't have a quarterback that was a great leader. We had a great coach that everybody respected in Doug Peterson. We had leaders still like Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey on the team. Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham. All these guys are still here. They should know what it was like when it fractured last. And they should be doing everything they can to keep the locker room together right now. Cowboys fans traveling to the Canada to go beat the Bills. Yeah. That's going to be a tough game right there. That'll be a good game, Cowboys-Bills. K1, I'm the heezy. Okay, I mean, much respect to I love Canada. I'm a big Canada guy. Been to quite a few places in Canada. Eagles fan taking things way too far with these signs. I get our quarterbacks are trash, but imagine you miss a deadline at work and people should exactly. You know, that one person that hates my pizza shop standing outside with a sign saying, "Boo, boo, foxes." Yeah, I mean, yeah, people say that about me on Twitter with this stuff too. Boo me. Don't need it though. They take it too far. If you really want to see what's taking it too far, go look at some of the tweets that were sent towards Darius Slay's wife on Sunday during the game and after the game. And now she's partly to blame to playing into them and sharing like you don't got to respond. You by engaging back, you're giving them validation and stuff like that. You just should ignore it and block it. But it gets so frustrating, it gets so over the top that it's hard for these players and their families. They're people too, and this happens in every city. It's not just Philadelphia. Hurts can show emotion all he wants, but if he keeps playing like this, he'll get his behind motion to the best. Stop, David Carr. Missed his showing his true identity as David Carr. Are you Canadian? I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll get caught up in the comments here. Thumbs up if you're a Birds fan. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. For some reason, my screen's not updating how many people are liking this show so far. So I don't know how many people have hit the like button, but I'm guessing not enough people have hit the like button. I mean, who walks around NovaCare with a little play sleigh sign? Who walks around with extra? Who packs? Who has metal trash cans like that anymore? Let alone has them to pack and bring there and park somewhere and drag them there. It's pathetic. That kind of stuff is pathetic, in my opinion. Cardio Kip. The losses were bad, but many of our wins weren't pretty either. And that's fair. I know I spent a lot of time, Kip, saying that a win's a win, no matter how you get it. But that doesn't translate as well to a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter how it happens. Because when you lose like we've lost, it's so much worse. It hurts so much more. But yes, our wins haven't been pretty. But our wins also weren't against cupcake teams. You know, we did beat the Chiefs, who, yes, they've lost a few games. We did beat the Dolphins. Yes, they lost again last night. We did beat the Bills. Hey, they beat the Chiefs. We did beat the Cowboys earlier this year. We did beat the Dolphins. The Rams are a good team still. Not great, but good. So, yes, it's not like we played a schedule of Carolina Panthers and I don't even know who else to put in that bottom tier group. But it's not like that's what we played. It's not like we were barely beating those teams. L, no, beard, knowledge. Yeah. There's my best impersonation for you. Yeah, I even did the head cock like back like that. French, Canadian, Mexican. That sounds like the oddest mix. No offense. French, Canadian, Mexican. Comment of the day right there. Probably. Even if we win the Super Bowl, there will still be questions, Philip. Did you just call me Philip, Marshawn? Like, Marshawn, that's like almost like insulting to an extent. Like my mother, when she was mad at me, was the only one that I would ever call me Philip, and my aunt. My aunt calls me Philip all the time. But that's it. Nobody else calls me Philip. My wife don't. I don't even think my wife's ever called me that. Sign Sue, Joseph has done wonders. And look, bringing in anybody at this point to the Eagles team is not going to be the answer anymore. It might help provide some depth, but we're 14 weeks into the season. We're about to start week 15. Made the PSN fantasy football playoffs by the hair of my teeth. FYI, I'm going to get smoked by Zach Chavalella this week, though. Bringing people in isn't going to help. Might be reinforcements to help rest some guys, but for the most part, this team is who it is, and we still have massive holes on defense. And the Dominican Sue doesn't play safety or linebacker. Quebec represent. In reality, Eagles are sitting in a good spot. I know it, Lucio. The rest of the Eagles nation knows it, but we're frustrated because if we would have lost to the Cowboys last week, say 35-31, close, hard foot game, whatever, we would still be saying we're sitting in a good spot. We at least control our destiny in the division. Problem is, we got smoked 2 weeks in a row. So the emotions are coming out. And they're not just coming out of the fans, they're coming out of the players. And that's what worries me. Get the offense running downhill again. The offense, again, was getting downhill on Sunday against Dallas, Lucio. We had 2 major drops that would have resulted in points. One was in the end zone, one was near the end zone. We had 3 big fumbles that could have resulted in points. That is 5 drives that stalled because of big lack of execution plays. That is a problem. So where the offense might be vanilla to an extent, where the offense might not be what we want it to be running the football. What it is moving the ball. But there's some fundamental execution mistakes last week and the last 2 weeks, really. That's a problem. Now, the defense, to me, is still the bigger problem. And I think the offense can get right. I think the offense can get back to scoring 30 points a game. Going into this week, I don't know where we fell after this week. We were one of the top teams, offensively speaking, points per game, top 5. We don't have a problem scoring. The last 2 weeks we have, but we haven't overall. It's the defense that's consistently bad and getting worse. And that's where the problem is. As long as there is no bickering amongst the core 12, it's all good. We bicker sometimes, K1, when we trash talk Kenny Gainwell or whatnot. But as long as there's no animosity, as long as we all love each other, we'll have to do like a secret Santa amongst the core 12. Jennifer Slade doesn't deserve that kind. Dude, let me tell you something. If you would see some of the things that were sent to her and she shared out, which again, she shouldn't share it out, but she did. And I know this stuff happens, Marshawn. It's disgusting. And the most of the people are doing it from fake accounts. Like the one account that I saw that she shared had 5 people it was following and had 0 followers and only put out 12 tweets in its history. It was basically a backup burner account so somebody can trash talk somebody and get away with it. Pathetic. Pathetic. Philip is struggling with reading the comments, much like Jalen with reading blitzes. Am I struggling? Did I mess something up? Did I miss something? I'm sorry if I missed something. The 12 relationship has never been, or I'm just falling behind on comments. Sorry, I try to make sure I get to everybody's comment. Teams are not stopping the run and containing Hurts. They are forcing the Eagles to win through the air. If AJ and Smitty come down with those plays, it's a different. Exactly, Peanut. We might be talking about a win right now if it wasn't for this. Those 2 drops. Even the fumbles. If those 2 catches are caught, totally different ballgame. LA Knight might be the best on the mic right now. Wrong. I actually think LA Knight might be one of the most overrated WWE stars right now. Hot take. Boom. Drop the mic. LA Knight, you ain't You're nah. Sorry. Philip, I got Slay syndrome with the first name. Don't call me Philip. That's right. We got 2 people that don't want to be called Darius on the Eagles, and we got 1 person that doesn't want to be called Philip. Just call me Phil or P. My nieces and nephews call me P. Uncle P. Are we now the Philip fellas? No, we are not. You guys take one thing and take it so far all the time. Cardiac Kip. Our quarterbacks are not trash, but the 3-4 scheme up front with 2 single high safety puts way too much pressure on them. Our quarterbacks are not trash. Are they playing great? No, not. But the safeties are playing worse, and the linebackers are playing even worse. And so the defense as a whole, in the back end of it, is struggling massively. And it makes the issue for the cornerbacks a little bit harder. When there's communication, there was a play on Sunday. It didn't result in a big gain, but I saw somebody doing the all-22 on it. And it was Brandon Robbie bit on a double move from Ceedee Lamb. But he had Reed Blankenship there, so he didn't have to bite. Or maybe it was Kevin Byard there. He had safety help, Brandon Robbie. But he still bit. But that was a communication issue. That was 2 people not knowing where they needed to be on that play. And that caused the problem. Best defensive tackle, Linville Joseph. We are the Philippines. I like it. We got a 40. Should I put the 49ers trash talk in here? Sure, let's do it. Timothy Santiago. Thanks for tuning in and trash talking. Hey, you trash talking help the algorithm. This is too funny. You lost to my Niners team too. You are a joke. Well, the joke is on you because we're still the best team. I'm going to put the Eagles number 1 in my power rankings over them this week just to piss you off. Philip cannot not be the beacon of positivity. The Eagles are truly doomed at this point. Man, you guys just love taking things too far. Are these 3 fumbles and 2 drops in 5 separate drives? I have no. And they were at least in 3 or 4 of the drives. So yeah, I know the Jalen Hurts fumble wasn't one of these drives. Well, the 3 fumbles weren't in these drives. I don't know, but they were in at least 4 of the drives. I would say. Kenny G doesn't fumble. He don't block either. Good morning, Eric, and the Core 12. Flying to work. LA Knight is a dollar knockoff of Stone Cold and The Rock. I will boo him at WrestleMania for you, Eric. Guarantee it. Phil puts the Philip in Philadelphia. Hey, that was my DJ name, my cruise ship name. Philly Phil. Phil from Philadelphia. Whatever day of the week it was, whatever I said. Something along those lines. Philly Phil. He looks like a creative player gone wrong. Who, me? No. LA Knight. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Sign that young Bears quarterback this summer, maybe draft it. They're going to have to invest in cornerback, safety, linebacker, something. Where Timothy Santiago hung a banner in his house. I know. The 49ers already won the Super Bowl, Marshawn. Might as well not even play the rest of the season because the 49ers already got it all locked up. The game is over. Might as well not play. I just refreshed my background screen. It says there's only 10 likes on YouTube, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We got to 30 people watching right now. Not enough people have liked this video so far. Eric, tell them 49ers suck. Even the Bills fans think it. 2% best, yeah. Purdy, good job. Now we're doomed. Weren't the 49ers doomed when they lost? Yeah, I mean, see, here's the thing. You say this. I actually saw somebody else say this on social media the other day, last night or this morning. Were 49ers fans jumping off a cliff after they lost 3 games in a row? Let me tell you something. The 3 games they lost, the 49ers, weren't against the quality of teams that we just lost to. We just lost to Dallas Cowboys in San Francisco. The other 2 teams tied with us for the best record in football. Who did the 49ers lose to? Not that quality of teams. Cincinnati was one of them. I don't even know. I don't even know who the teams were. Now I have to look. Now I got to pull it up. They lost to the Browns Vikings. The Vikings were only able to score 3 points on Sunday in overtime against the Raiders. And the 49ers lost. And they lost to a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team. I think Joe Burrow-less. Maybe not. I don't remember. They weren't doom and gloom. So why are we? It's because Howie lost, for sure. But they lost to teams that were not even playoff teams. But we got a problem. Philip, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I like your opinion on Seth Joyner. My opinion on Seth Joyner, Sigel Cerdo, I think is how you say it. I'm not sure. I'm bad at names. And on a side note, K1, I did say Apollina properly. I did not say Abilena. I'm a little less congested today. Seth Joyner is the epitome of what Eagles fans are. He's a former player, disgruntled that he isn't a coach analyst, but he speaks from the heart. And he speaks with emotion on his post-game shows. So sometimes he goes overboard and his clips are taken out of context. But he's right that the cornerbacks don't want to tackle. He's right there. Sometimes he gets a little off. But a lot of when he is off on his comments aren't clickbaitish. His comments are post-game show, heat of the moment, just like me. I say a lot of things on this show every day. But when I'm live tweeting an Eagles game and I'm blaming the refs for this or that, I don't mean it truly. It's heat of the moment passion. So Seth Joyner, being an Eagles player for most of his career, being ingrained in this city for so long, a legend in the city, he speaks from emotion and heart. And I respect that. And he has no problem going back and saying, yeah, I was wrong on that. This is what it is. And that's what I like about Seth Joyner. Now, do I disagree with some of his opinions when they're in the heat of the moment? Absolutely. But I do respect that he's in the heat of the moment kind of passion there. And thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Sea Chicken's wide receivers are very good. Philip Corleone comes out of witness protection in Godfather 4. I got a little connection. Philip, I was like an entertainer. I DJ'd. I did karaoke, line dancing, bingo. I was a cruise ship entertainer, kind of thing. 90s. I didn't have anything. I just used the cruise ship's equipment, stuff like that. I'd watch that movie, Mister. Says Godfather 4 starring me. I don't think this face is a face for the movie screens. I don't think they need it up on the big screen. Although there used to be a guy, I don't know if George is still watching secretly and just not comment. George used to put me up on a 70-inch flat screen and send me pictures. That was an ugly look. I'll tell you that. Would you have to be better? It would have to be better because everything's better than Godfather 3. Philip Corleone doesn't need protection. He is a liability. I am not a snitch. Snitches get stitches, Marshawn. I am not a snitch. No way. Bengals, Yuck, Vikings, and Browns. Yeah. So the 49ers lose to those three teams. Their world wasn't. Then they beat us and they won the Super Bowl. Make it make sense. They're going to look the other way now. It's a joke. Rough patches that happen. It's how you respond. Look, and this is the thing, Dave, and this is my whole point. Is the locker room fractured? Are the Eagles a broken team? But I've talked about it all along, that this team would never lose more than 2 games in a row with these leaders. We're going to find out if I'm right and you're right that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are fantastic leaders or not. If they can, because again, Seattle, while we should beat Seattle, going to Seattle for Philadelphia has never been easy. And I don't know what their record is, but it can't be good. I'm telling you, it's a tough game. Whether Drew Lock or Geno Smith are starting, they got 2 good running backs. They got great wide receivers and DK Metcalf. What was the guy's name? Jackson, whatever. Their first round picks playing well. Tyler Lockett, great great slot receiver. They got a tough team, and it's in Seattle, and it's prime time. You know, Seattle fans are going to bring it. They have to respond. They should. We're going to learn a lot about this team this week. Cowgirls are in there. It's our year stage of the cycle. Yeah, they always get into that every year. Hey, Dak Prescott's jumped to the MVP favorite. I was looking yesterday after that loss. The Eagles are still tied for 3rd best Super Bowl odds. And this was before the game last night. So these odds have obviously changed. But as of 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, the 49ers were the favorite. And weirdly, before last night's game, Dolphins were the 2nd favorite team to win the Super Bowl. Then the Eagles and Ravens 3. Cowboys were still only 4th betting favorite. Jalen Hurts fell to the 1, 2, 3, 4th in the MVP voting behind Dak, Brock, and Lamar. It's their year. But the books don't think it is their year. Just so you know. Apollina. See, I'm saying it with a P. There is a P in there. Purdy was crying in the locker room mirror after the win. Mama, I made it. Calm down, Niners fans. It's a marathon, not a race. That was one big long run on. Well, I read it like a run on sentence. I didn't use the periods there to space what you said. But yeah, the 49ers fans think it's over. Just pack it up, pack it in, let the offseason begin. Because they already won the Super Bowl. Cowboys fans think that too. What a matter, you. What a matter. What a matter. I love Seth. Players and coaches need to tap in. Now, I don't know Seth Joyner. I don't know if he is really, like, he wants to be a coach, a defensive coordinator. I don't know if he'd make a good coach, but I love his passion. And maybe his passion the way he would act would change if he was a coach. And I think some of his frustrations come out that he never got that opportunity to coach. But that's on him. It's not Apollina. It's Apollonia. So I was getting the end of it. I thought you were making fun of me because of the B in it before. Apollonia. Something like that. Guys, stop it with the name. If you guys are going to call me Philip, I'm going to pronounce anyone's name wrong that I want anytime. Exactly, Marshawn. I left a message to yesterday's video and Philip replied defensively. I get very offended. I do. TG Phil had Cotton Eye Joe and the chicken dance on deck. And, the electric slide. A little hot. Some Caribbean vibes. Had the deck parties pumping. I believe that Seth Joyner would make a hell of a linebacker coach and maybe even a defensive coordinator. However, my suspicion would be that he's been too accurate and bold in terms of publicly identifying the Eagles' philosophies. I'm trying to read through all this, respectfully originating in the owner's box. Thus, we would make it highly unlikely that Laurie would hire one who's previously. Yeah, I think this is the thing. I think his passion might make him not a good coaching candidate. That's my only problem. Electric slide on repeat, dude. I hate it. Like, I still have nightmares of that. I have nightmares of the electric side. What's the update on Tyreek Hill? I'd hate to see him miss out on the Dallas game. Did he get hurt last night? I called it an early night last night, Seagal. I I flipped between I was put between the games, the Sixers game. Once the Sixers game got out of hand, I called it an early night last night. So I didn't even know he got hurt. 49ers suck. Analytics staff need to be fired. He said Apollina. I guess I'm saying it wrong. Whatever. Even if y'all lose against the Sea Chickens, y'all still one of the favorites. Even if we lose. Exactly. But we need a win. This Eagles Nation needs a win. We need a Christmas miracle. We need to get out of this stretch here. I am an Italian. I'm a damn good Italian, K1. Bologna. Yeah. Bologna? Abologna. The team that lost the Super Bowl the prior season are supposed to be bad. After starting the season 10-1, maybe we're coming back to reality. Mister, some people have brought this up, that we're finally just getting into that Super Bowl hangover now. And while I understand that the numbers say that there's always a Super Bowl hangover to the losing team, I don't buy it. I don't think that that's an excuse. I don't think that that is necessarily what's wrong. Hell, what's wrong? We could blame the offense. We could blame the defense. We could blame this player or that coach. How about we blame Howie Roseman? Where are our biggest weaknesses? Linebacker, safety, depth at cornerback. Who built this team? Who skipped Brian Branch for Nolan Smith? Who let two safety or linebackers leave and brought in two more? Hell, we can go back to letting Alex Singleton, who I wasn't a fan of, but he's a Pro Bowl candidate every year now with Denver. Maybe it's time to put some of the blame on some of the weaknesses of this team on the guy that we anointed executive of the year before week 1. K1 said, run on sentence and proceeds to butcher people's names. Stop. Cowboys Super Bowl would be losing to 49ers in the playoffs. Yeah, possibly. Eagles need to run single high safety from my man, Drew. What is up, Drew? They need to do something on defense differently. But see, the thing is, Sean Desai is just another stubborn coordinator. He's got these players, and he should run this system. But this is the system he wants to run. So he doesn't care that these players can't run that system. He's going to keep running this system. And that's the problem. When coaches don't see what's in front of them because they're too stubborn, they think what they want to do is the right way. They think what they want to do is going to work no matter who is there. You got to adjust to the personnel you have. You do. How can we trust this Maruk when he can't pronounce it? Oh, my God. I didn't say you had to trust me. Trust is earned. And I guess I've obviously not earned that trust. DJ Touchy really gonna hold on. Don't put that word in front of my name there. Make you dance till midnight. Half price margaritas for those. Hey, everybody that was on a celebrity cruise was like 65 years old. I was always dancing with the old ladies. The Eagles fired Doug because he spoke up against them. Yeah, possibly. Bad ankle, lower leg injury. Is that what Tyreek Hill had? That's a shame. I hope he's okay. Because I need him. I got Tua in my fantasy football team, and I might have Tyreek Hill. Both my best ball lineups in the Millie Maker on DraftKings made it to the playoffs. So I need that to be a short-term injury thing there for sure. Sixers won by 1,000. I don't know what the final score is, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was 1,000, Marshawn, because it was like 45 the last I looked. I mean, it was 100-65 at one point in the third quarter. He was back in the game, so I assume he is fine. Okay. All right. I hope so. Dolphins played last night. There were 2 Monday Night Football games last night. 2 at the same time. Really weird scheduling. Phil is one of the greatest Italians in PA. I am, as Patty Bernard, the Gobbler, Edge of Philly Sports, PM in the AM, would say, I'm the mayor of Kenneth Square. That is correct. Whose game is it? It's L.A. Knights game? Nah. I don't buy LA Knight, Marshawn. I actually liked him when he was Eli Drake. I thought he was very original when he was Eli Drake. But in WWE, he's almost being force fed that he's this top guy. I don't know. I don't buy him. I don't buy the character. Alex Singleton sucks. He does. But guess what? He tackles. He leads his team in tackles 2 years in a row out there in Denver. At least he tackles. Most of our defense avoids tackling outside of the front five. That's the problem. I need guys that are going to tackle. This team is void of tacklers in the middle of the field. 2 weeks ago, we were all slobbering over Desai and Howie. Now off with their heads. Now, I wasn't slobbering on Desai. You know I've been calling Sean Desai a problem for a long time. Since he was hired, I talked about the communication issues with him and his lack of success prior to Philly. I've been talking about it for a while. Now, Howie, yeah, I was like everybody else, anointing him executive of the year. Thought he had a great offseason. But we're seeing that he's got more work to do to figure out how to build a winning team. Eagles are the Vikings from last year. Ooh, that's interesting. I hope we have better results come playoff time than the Vikings of last year. The Vikings won a lot of meaningless games, lost a few important games, and lost early in the playoffs. I don't know. One of the Vikings carried by defense too, though, last year. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. You'd think we were 3-10. Exactly. You would think it. If it's just the way it happened, K1. We some name calling, side holding son of beaches. Yeah. I did my ancestry test. It says I'm 85% West African and 15% English. I've always wanted to look at mine. I always wanted to do it. I got to figure it out someday, maybe. Phil's the dirty dog. Absolutely. Dude's wrestled more matches than anybody in WWE this year. And he's got worse than X-Pac to him. I respect the work. The guy was raw as can be when he got added to the roster. Raw as can be. And he still sucks. But you know what? He draws the heat, man. I love when a guy draws the heat like that. I feel like I'm the only one not in panic mode, Davon is saying. Things will be fine. I'm probably closer to not in panic mode. But I do get worried when I hear anonymous leaks. Once I hear any reporter say, an anonymous person in the locker room told me, that means they don't have the guts to say it to the locker room, but they want it to be anonymous. That worries me. I'm more in panic mode because of that than losing 2 games. I'm more that's where my panic mode sets in when the leaks happen. I'm 50% Kenny G and 50%. Oh, man. Dude. Oh, man. I don't know how to respond to that one. That's funny. Good one there, K1. You were slobbering on him after his defense kept teams scoreless in the second half. I don't know about the word slobbering on him. But I think I pretty much said that, yeah, he's great at making these halftime adjustments. But I'm pretty sure I said several times, Marshawn, on this show, well, he's got to be pretty bad to have to make those great second half adjustments. I've definitely brought that up several times on this show before. The side ranks in points with the last 3 teams: Bears, DC, 22nd Seahawks. Yeah, for sure. Tom sucks, bro. LA Knight. Yeah, no. I'm a Dom guy. I'm a dirty Dom. I did my ancestry test. It said I got that dog in me, 100%. Yeah, you got the dog? Well, the Eagles didn't have the dog in them the last 2 weeks. And we're going to find out what dog they got in them this week against Seattle. But anyway, back to the Davon comment. I get more concerned and more in the panic mode when the anonymous leaks happen. That bothers me. We don't want anonymous leaks. We don't need anonymous leaks. What we need is everybody staying together. What we need is everybody staying on the same page. Desai can go. He was always a below average coordinator. Yeah. I think he was only the defensive coordinator once. I think he was the assistant coach / special teams assist or defensive coach assist. I don't know. He had some weird title in Seattle. It wasn't defensive coordinator. But They were always ranked poorly. They were always bottom 25 defenses. For as much as we complain about the offense, let me pull this up here. Let me pull something up here. I know y'all hate ESP, Elliott Shore Park, but the Eagles' offense is now after this week 6 in points. So we fell because of this past week. Points per drive, 4th. Yards per game, 8th. First downs, 3rd. Third down offense, 3rd. Red zone offense, 10th. The 18th in turnovers is a problem. But the points per game, points per drive, and yards per game, we're top 8 in all those. Our offense is very efficient. Just imagine if the mistakes and the turnovers didn't happen. If we weren't 18th in turnovers, it would be higher. Everything would be higher. But the offense is the problem. No, the defense is the problem. The defense has been the problem all along. No. Drew, I love you, my man. Been supporting me for a long time. Nick Sirianni, and this is the thing. I see 2 things happen in the last 24 hours. People blasted Howie Roseman for signing Jalen Hurts to a contract extension too soon. It was a waste. It's Carson Wentz 2.0. And people say Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat. There is no chance that Nick Sirianni is even remotely on the hot seat, Drew. And he shouldn't be. And if he is on the hot seat, then I got some problems with Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. Because Nick Sirianni does not deserve to be on the hot seat 1 iota. Maybe, just maybe, we don't have the personnel for his defense. Yes, well, that's what I've been saying, Marshawn. So it's up to him to switch up his schemes a little bit. It's up to him. That's why you see Jonathan Gannon running a different scheme in Arizona than he did here. Because he ran the personnel that he needed. He ran the defense with the personnel he had last year. And guess what? We had a top 10 defense last year. Jim Schwartz, same way. Ran a different defense based off the personnel he had. Juan Castillo clears to Sai. I don't know. That's close. Anonymous. Just when you lose flat. Oh my god. Dude, joking aside, anonymous leaks bother me. I'm still scarred from the Alshon Jeffrey Carson Wentz era. Anonymous leaks are a problem. Juan Castillo won a ring with the Ravens. Did he? Good for him. Happy for him. Offense sucks too. Dirty Phil. The offense is a top 8 offense in the NFL. After not even scoring a touchdown last week, they were able to stay a top 8 defense in the NFL. Think about it. They did not score a touchdown. They are top 8 offense in the NFL. So and they're 18th in turnovers, which means that could be a top 5, top 3 defense minus the turnovers. If the players just execute a little better, the offense is fine. If they create a few less turnovers, the offense is fine. The defense is not. The offense has to pitch a perfect ball game because they know the defense. The defense gave up 10 straight touchdown drives or something like that, not counting the end of game. They're one of the worst 3rd down defenses I've seen ever. It's not the offense. If the offense can't get the ball back because your defense stops the other team, what are you going to do? The ancestry test said my 15% English is related to Liam. Oh man, that's hilarious. Mista and Liam are long lost cousins. Desai not built to adjust. He ain't doing it. If you think he's adjusting, I don't know. But I don't think he's adjusting at all. They should have fired Desai after this game. But see, Drew, and yes, I'm frustrated with Sean Desai. Obviously. You hear that in my voice. But week 15 is not when you fire guys. If you have plans on winning the Super Bowl. Now maybe Matt Patricia or one of the other assistant coaches need to help him out a little bit with his game planning. A little bit more. Maybe they need to take away his defensive play calling a little bit from him. Maybe. But there's a fracture there. Because the players see that what's being called by the coaches isn't working. It is what it is. But I'm not sure if I'm firing anybody at this point. Funny how slowly but surely Philly is growing nostalgic for Jonathan Gannon. Look, I said it last year. This show None of you guys were following me, or most of you. Marshawn was. A few of you might have. Drew was. I never crushed Jonathan Gannon like others did. Yeah, I blamed them for a few things here or there, but I never called him the worst coordinator of all time or anything like that. I was pretty positive on Jonathan Gannon because I saw that we were a top 10 defense. Plus, everything was going well last year. Did he have an awful game in the Super Bowl? Yes. Does he deserve the criticism he gets in Philadelphia? Yes. But is he the gold standard now? I don't know about the gold standard per se, but he's not as bad as people put him up there as. We've had much worse defensive coordinators over the last 25, 30 years than Jonathan Gannon. God, how I missed the cold-eyed bloodiness stare from the sidelines. Yeah. Is Desai gone after the season? Well, that's a different subject, Drew, than firing him right now. You got to wait and see how the season ends, how it goes in the playoffs. One thing is for sure. I think Brian Johnson's gone after the season because I still think Brian Johnson gets a head coaching job this offseason. Sean Desai will not be gone because he gets a head coaching job. He might be gone because he doesn't work out and our defense stinks, but he will not be gone. I think probably they bring him back. Probably. Try to have some continuity. But we'll see. It all depends. We still got 4 regular season games, hopefully 3 more playoff games at least. We'll see in the end. That'll be a big question. But my guess is unless it really blows up here over the next 5-6 weeks, most likely he's still here. The numbers are not saving this offense from the lack of execution. That's it. The numbers are there. There's some finer points that need to be executed better. But Brian Johnson is not the end-all be-all problems. And still to this moment, a majority of Eagles fans, if you go on social media, will say Brian Johnson is the number one problem on this team. In fact, there might be a poll question coming on Twitter about it. Drew, I'm afraid he will be back, much like when Gannon and Steichen were back after year 1. And guess what? Steichen and Gannon weren't great year 1. Lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Jalen Hurts wasn't an MVP yet, but he was a great leader. And guess what? Year 2, they were better. Maybe after seeing what he wants to do, how he manipulates the offseason to accommodate Sean Desai's strengths as a coordinator. Maybe he does. Maybe goes out and fixes some of his back end of his defense, the black hole in the middle. Wait till after the season to fire Desai. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Look, I'm not saying I want him fired or not, but he's got to be better. 70 sacks is a tough act to follow. Absolutely, Marshawn. And you had to know there was going to be a drop-off there. And they do lead the league in almost sacks. I know you guys are sick of hearing me say that. But some of the mistakes made possibly by Howie Roseman building this defense was because he didn't look past the 70 sacks. Keeping Slay and James Bradbury and extending them. Maybe they weren't as good as we thought last year because the defense had 70 sacks. If Gannon gets fired this offseason for return here in Philly, that'd be like this epic return. Superman coming back from the dead for the 14th time. Maybe not quite to that level. They try to call a big play offense. We an offense that slowly kills and tired out our defense. Look, see, Drew, we've had those slow, methodical drives. We've done them plenty of times this year. I can count probably 3 or 4 15, 18 play drives this year. But we are a home run hitter as well. We're a little bit of both. So we can be both. I don't think there's a problem being both. Brian Johnson got that spiking growth in him. I don't know. But yes, it is time for the hard reset. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live on all social media platforms. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. Make sure if you're watching this show now or on replay, you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button, wherever you're at. whatever channel you're watching on. Yeah, make sure you hit those buttons for me. I greatly appreciate it. We're at 14 likes only on YouTube, 6 on Facebook. Pound that like button. Like button is very, very important to the show and to me. So I'd greatly appreciate if you guys do that. We are talking Eagles. We are talking the offense. We're talking about drama. We're talking about a broken team. Hell, it should be. We should be talking about a broken fan base because that's what it is. What else is hard to follow? This is a hard reset. Sometimes I like to mix a little baseball or basketball talk in after the hard reset. Once Gannon got talent on his defense, we hung 70 sacks on the league. So, what do we need? We need cornerbacks. We need a safety. We need linebackers that can tackle. We need all the players that we bring in not to have injury issues. You think about it. When we talked in the offseason, every time a new player was added, oh, that player missed this many games this year, this many games that year. Every person that we talked about this offseason that was brought in here had an injury question. Phil Stiefel. Yeah, I got the Stiefels. I'm sorry. I think I'm doing better than yesterday. No, we're not talking about Apollonia. No, not happening. Nah. Nobody wants to talk about Shohei Ohtani and his $700 million contract. And then it comes out yesterday that the Dodgers are actually only paying him $2 million a year for 10 years. And then taking the other $680 million and deferring it to the following 10 years. And how insane that contract is. Talk about kicking it down. We always talk about Howie Roseman pushes the money down the line. Well, the Dodgers just push a lot of money down the line. 680 of the $700 million deferred. It's insane. Mitchie Pooh. There are Eagles fans crying on social media, acting like we are a 1-12 Carolina Panthers. Yes. There's a lot of overreaction going on, Mitchie Pooh. There is. But I get it. Because it's how we lost. We lost 2 in a row in really bad fashion. And then, as soon as we lose, you know what happens? The locker room starts chirping anonymously. And I hate anonymous leaks. That means there's problems brewing. And that's what this question and this show's about. It's up to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni to be the leaders they claim to be. You have all lost the right to criticize Howie. You all make the bed, you now lay in it. We've lost the right to criticize Howie. Why have we lost the right to criticize Howie, Matty B? And what's up, my man? Why? I mean, we've criticized him before. We've given him his flowers before. Howie Roseman is the one that relied on an injury-prone Nakobe Dean, brought in an injury-prone Zach Cunningham. Both have missed time. And the other options were Christian Ellis, Nicholas Morrow, who weren't on the roster to begin the year. He's the one that went out and got Terrell Edmonds, who's not on the team anymore. He's the one that went out and got Justin Evans, who never plays a full season. He's the one that gave the extensions to Slay and Bradbury. He's the one that built this team. So you can give him criticism. Ohtani is a smart businessman. The 680, well, the whole 700 is guaranteed because all baseball contracts are fully guaranteed. The bank will give him at least $200 million in credit. Look, I'm not saying that the Ohtani deal is not a great deal. It's a fantastic deal. Smart and fantastic for him, for his family, for everybody. Is it good for a baseball, though? That's the question. Being able to defer because it manipulates the luxury tax, too, and what the team can spend. At some point, does this contract, is this what breaks the straw on the camel's back and creates a salary cap in baseball or changes the luxury tax rules? That's what the other big problem is between him and John Rahm getting $600 million from Live Golf. What is wrong with the world that two athletes in sports, John Rahm and Shohei Ohtani, combined got $1.3 billion committed to them in like a 2-day span. What is wrong with sports there? That's a lot of money. Y'all flip-flopped on Howie and forgave him for his moves. That is what I meant. Now you're all married to that fraud. Okay, look, flip-flopping is living in the moment. It's what sports fans do. Now we are. So what you're saying is, Maddie, you never bought into the Howie Roseman turnaround. Let me rethink about this for a second. Sometimes I hear comments and it takes a minute to adjust to understand them. And I think I understand what you're saying. We flip-flopped. You didn't. You stayed firm and fast that he was not the right guy. That is fine. That I understand. But I think that's what being a fan is, flip-flopping. Living moment to moment, in the moment. Passion in the moment. That's what we are. So we forgave him. And now we're ready to well, most people aren't ready to criticize him. First and foremost, this Howie Roseman criticism is coming from me. And yes, I'll admit I flip-flop. I flip-flop all the time. Only because I'm willing to admit I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit I was wrong that Howie Roseman had a great offseason. Maybe he had a good offseason. Maybe his drafting was good this year. Maybe it was not as good as we thought. Brian Branch might have been the better pick. But I'm allowed to flip-flop because I'll admit it. All baseball contracts are basically FTX. Yeah. Inflation. I get inflation. And, when I tweeted out this weekend, what's wrong with the world? The two guys got $1.3 billion combined. I kept getting told, well, you want the owners to make more money? Everyone attacked me for it. And no, I don't want the owners keeping their billions of dollars. I'm not taking the side of the owners on this baseball contract and this live golf contract. What I'm saying is, what is wrong in the world that the owners are making so much money that they can afford to put out $1.3 billion? Like $700 million for one player. The owners are making that kind of money. And he's going to make that team $700 billion off their $700 million investment. I get it. But maybe the owners shouldn't be making so much money to spend out. Lower ticket prices, lower concession stands, lower parking prices. Make a little bit of less money. And in turn, you have less money to spend. Let's make it all that money. You can help people with that money. No one player needs $700 million. Because I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. We'll disagree that. A character flaw would be not admitting when you're wrong, in my opinion. That's my opinion. That admitting your mistakes in the past is better than not. It's called flip-flopping. I'm okay with being a flip-flopper. That's because they keep passing the expense back to the customer. Family of 5 goes to baseball game today, if so, they have to. I agree, Travis. That's why I don't go to sporting events. Well, I don't like crowds, but I also don't want to drop hundreds of dollars. I'm already thinking I got 2 free WrestleMania tickets for both nights. I'm already thinking about parking, t-shirts, concessions, how much money I'm going to spend at WrestleMania. And I'm not even paying for the tickets. Tickets were I won them. They were giveaways. My man Sean Brace, 1025, The Gambler. But I'm already thinking about the money. I'd love to know how much that player's actually getting per year minus taxes. Well, I don't know what the California taxes are, K1. Then you also got the agent fees. There's so much that goes into it. And I'm sure there's something in there for shirt sale, like concession. Like he probably is making extra money on T-shirt sales and jersey sales. Like, it's interesting. And I've seen people show their paychecks before athletes and how much of it they actually make and keep. And it's a shame because they don't keep it all, obviously. Everybody's got their hand out. Everybody gets a cut. It is what it is. But it's still $700 million. And at some point, who needs $700 million? Like, seriously. At what point is too much money too much? And I don't want to get all into social agendas and politically speaking or anything. But at some point, athletes, celebrities, when's enough's enough? $700 million. You know what kind of good that could do for a lot of people? Now, one very smart person, not so smart person, I should say, said give $1 million to 700 million people, and it would be somebody had some really bad math on social media and got crushed for it. But it's so weird to me. John Rahm and Ohtani, are they worth $1.3 billion to their sports? To the sports world? No. And it bothers me. Athletes only get one bite of the apple for their whole career. Yeah, I get it. It's still too much money. I don't think any athlete, hell, $300 million for Bryce Harper. So much money. And he's on a deal right now. Just think about it. You reset the market too for what stars are going to get paid. So the money's just going to keep going up. The Dodgers are going to make more money off of bringing in Ohtani. On their $700 million investment, they're going to make so much money. I heard that the first home opener in LA, tickets are already going on StubHub for like $15,000 a pop to see Ohtani with the Dodgers for the first time. The dude just got $700 million and he just had Tommy John surgery and might not pitch till 2025. Just think about that. California is the fourth largest economy in the world. $700 million is not that much. California has a $3 Yeah, well, that's fine, and I get that. It's still too much money. There's got to be a limit to money somewhere. I just feel like there does. Which one of the four aces said, "When is enough money? Enough money. I want to win." They took less money so he can win the World Series. I don't know who that was, Travis, that said that. I'm not sure, but I know I remember hearing it. When's enough money enough? But see, the thing is, money talks. Because John Rahm said he didn't need live golf. He didn't need live money. Because he had all the money he needed. He didn't need anything else. And then Liv went and upped it a couple $100 million. And all of a sudden, well, I'm doing it for the betterment of the game and yeah, blah, blah, blah. The money talks. Money can change people's beliefs. Money can change people's decisions. Money can change people. Good or bad. Cali also has insane. I'm sure they have high taxes. I'm sure. There's a lot of great places in California. But I don't think I would ever live in California. Because I'll never make $700 million to be able to afford it. Oh, yeah. Well, also, they live there because Arizona. They live in either Arizona or Florida. Same reason why all of baseball spring training happens in Arizona and Florida. Because the weather's the best year round. And during the very, very minimal off season, they get good weather and they keep their game sharp. So that's part of why golfers live in Florida. Also, but yeah, the taxes definitely play a part for sure. But guys, it's just too much money. And I wanted to take that conversation in the direction of what it means for baseball, what it means for golf. Those two guys, but now we're just talking about it's too much money, or is it not? I don't know. I don't know. But back to the Eagles thing. I want to go through my notes here. Got 2 pages of notes. Tomorrow we got power rankings. I have no idea what to do with the power rankings. I really wanted to drop the Eagles super far down, but no. I got to bring that back up in a second. I got to get to that. That I can save for tomorrow. We mentioned Derek Gunn. Eagles broken. We'll get back to that. Fletcher with the schedule. Maybe we talk about that. Maybe we save that the Fletcher conversation and the schedule for tomorrow. Yeah, I got a couple other topics for tomorrow. But what did I say? We talked about some of these people. I want to see Phil's golf power rankings. Well, I mean, at this point, I don't know if this means anything to you. Well, the amount of guys leaving for live, Tom Hoagie's going to be the world number one before long. And if you don't get that joke and you don't know golf, Justin Sue's going to be top 5 Kyle in the world before long. We talked about Derek Gunn and whether he's still a respected voice or not. We talked about how fans are overreacting to Darius Slay and trash talking him and Bradbury and his wife on social media. And then my man Angelo Cataldi last night. And he's retired and he doesn't have a job anymore. But he was a respected voice. There's a difference between what Derek Gunn does and what Angelo does. And what did Angelo do? Angelo tweets out, "Darius Slay, you suck." There's a difference between Derek Gunn. That's why I'm so concerned when Derek Gunn reports something that it's the locker room being broken. because he does it in a respectful way. Angelo, how did Angelo survive so long with a shock jock mentality like he did in a city that was like, how did we fall for Angelo's shtick for so long? And now that he's retired, I kind of see it more. I started this morning show because of Angelo, because I wanted a better show, a better option for people in the morning. But yet he made millions and a career off of saying things like, Darius Slay, you suck. That's the whole tweet. The entire tweet. Darius Slay, you suck. I don't get it. I don't get how these people think that that's okay to act that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that it's gotten to the point. Yeah, preach. Preach. Thanks, Big Al. Like, I get the emotion of the fans. It's not right when the fans do it, but I get it. Now, some take it too far. Obviously, the ones that attacked Jen Slay take it too far. But how someone like Angelo got away with it for so long and still continues to get away with it is beyond me. How is he the biggest morning show host of all time in Philly sports talk? How is he one of the top 5 Mount Rushmore legends? How did he get away with acting like that for so long? Man, hell, if I tweeted out Darius Slay, you suck right now, I'd be canceled in a heartbeat. Thank you, Nick. That's the reason why I watch the show. Can't take the other morning shows. That's why I made this show. That's why I started doing a daily show, because there has to be something better. Problem is, they all listen to him, not me. Because I won't just randomly blurt crap out of my mouth. I do it respect. But that's why the whole thought process that this Eagles team might be breaking in half is because when Derek Gunn tweets something out anonymously about, or comments out about an anonymous comment from a player, I believe it. It's not him going overboard. When Angelo says something, it frustrates the hell out of me. Darius Slay makes too much money. Absolutely. For sure. It might come back to haunt us. Yes, we might be flip-flopping on Howie. Sorry, Maddie. I just disagree that we're flip-flopping. I just saying we're living in the moment. But he definitely makes too much money. He came in at a low Philly sports time, and he made a name for himself of calling people out and doing extreme things, saying extreme things. I got the big, bold personality. Maybe there's a little bit of bitterness there with me. I appreciate that, Nick. I do. Muchas gracias. Did I pronounce that right, K1? Muchas gracias. I don't want to get in trouble for pronouncing something wrong. Angelo is trying to sell his new book. He's a shameless shock jock, and he's honest about it. That's why we love him. Has he said he knows he's a shameless shock jock? I don't know. I've never heard him say that. I haven't listened to him in a long time. I haven't. See, I can say Cataldi too, K1. I can pronounce his name right. Does that being able to say Cataldi, does that earn me any of my Italian credit back? Does it? I know I butchered Bologna. I know. Whatever. Aqua Bowman. I butchered it, but I said Cataldi, right? I did. Yeah. We got half of Edge of Philly in the comments today. Half of Edge of Philly chatting it up today in the comments. We got Pat, we got Mitchie Poo, we got Maddie, we got Big Al. At least 4 of Edge of Philly comment. What's up, guys? I don't even know which one you're laughing at this time. Anyway, we've gone off the rails here. I got to call it. We're going to start the 5-minute wrap up 5 minutes early today. I got catering at the shop today to get to. Got to go do some things today, but I really, really think that as Eagles fans, we should not be overreacting to the losses. We should be overreacting to the potential fracture, brokenness of this locker room. I think that is it. Yeah, I said I mentioned your name. I know you're Edge of P too. I think was it last night or 2 nights? I was watching your show just the other day. Maybe it was last night. Matty B. I know. We got Edge of Philly takeover, the PSN. Edge of Philly spamming the PSN thing. EOP PSN mashup right there. I love you guys. You guys do great work. I really, really worry. And I'm gonna live on this week. I am, and I'm gonna be nauseating talking this all week. I've got different angles to take with it tomorrow, and there might be more Matty B, more Howie Roseman talk tomorrow because of it. But when I see anonymous, I am EOP. Got, I got you. I got you. Um, the locker room isn't fracturing, Philip. This is nonsense. Our Paisan Sirianni has it under control. Well, that's the point, K1. We're going to learn about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni because it is a fracture. When you have anonymous leaks, there is a fracture forming. Now, whether it completely breaks is another subject. And that's on Nick Sirianni, our paisano. That's on him. It's on Jalen Hurts, the cool, calm, collected. You know what? I talked about him wanting him to show emotion. A lot of people told me no. They don't want him to show emotion. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know. Great win for the Sixers last night. We will talk Sixers. Justin Crosby tomorrow comes on every Wednesday, 9 a.m. On the show to talk Sixers. He was at the Sixers game last night. He will be on the show tomorrow, as he is every Wednesday, on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. Maybe we'll fix that someday. But when I hear anonymous leaks, it begins to question the leadership of this team. And that is the number one goal this week, is to heal that, is to fix that, is to make sure everybody's on board. And you know how you fix that? You go fix that by winning. You go out to Seattle on Monday night, and you beat the Seahawks. You go out there and you make a statement. If there was ever a moment for a statement, not a must win, a statement win, Seattle is the statement win at this moment, right now. No doubt about it. Nobody wants Jalen to go Mahomes on the sideline, do we? I kind of do, to an extent. Maybe. Maybe that was a little overreactionary on me yesterday saying that, or on Sunday night during the game saying that. But I want to see some passion, some emotion. Somebody getting in somebody's face saying, yo, you got to be better. I want to see it a little bit. Something. I don't know. Anything. Give me some life. Give me something. Yeah, what's up, Tom? How you doing? You're not an Eagles fan. My guess. But I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Any sports. I could talk any sports team, Tom, if you want to. If you have any sports opinions whatsoever. We got it here. But I appreciate you tuning in, my man, Tom. Greatly appreciate it. But make sure everybody's hitting that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button, no matter what social media platform you're watching on. And bring it. I got more titles pre-prep for this week. Tomorrow, some of the ideas that might be the topic tomorrow. Have the Eagles duped us? Maybe they're not fractured. Maybe Howie Roseman duped us. They're telling us this was a good team. Just one of the many options, possibly, for tomorrow's title. Philip wants Jalen to lose it on the sideline, K1. I said that in the heat of the moment. I did. And I won't back down from what I said. Maybe I'm wrong in saying it, but in the heat of the moment, I wanted Jalen to throw a temper tantrum to the rest of his team. Yell at A.J. Brown has no problem yelling at you when you're not giving him the ball. Yell at him for drops and fumbles. He's the one that talked trash before the game and then didn't back it up. I want no inquiries made. I want no acts of vengeance. Well, there's going to be some acts of vengeance. There is. All right, guys, wrapping this up 5 minutes early. Got to go. Everybody have a great day. It's another cold day here, another Tuesday here. 1 day closer to my birthday, 1 day closer to Christmas. Oh, you are an Eagles fan. Along with I know you're a Pittsburgh area guy, so I thought you were a Steelers fan. The Steelers have been brought up on this show before a few times. We've talked a few things about the Steelers. They even cracked my top 10 of my power rankings once or twice. But thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tom. Everybody, we got to wrap this up. We got to wrap it up. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Tune in every day, 8 a.m. The number one morning show, sports in Philadelphia. Justin Crosby, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Lots happening. Be back, guys. Everybody have a great day. Be prepared for more negative talk and more name mispronunciation tomorrow Everybody have a great day. Go Birds.